Hey everybody, how are we doing this evening? We've got a very good show tonight. A pair of gentlemen that you've met at least 3 other times on the show. I've apparently lost count. I put this as volume 3, but it's actually volume 4 from a pair of collectors who we know and enjoy from their wonderful CAF galleries. And I'm not going to leave them in the green room at all, just so we can get them in here. And you'll see one of these guys has a different background. So we're going to figure out what's going on with that. But welcome to the show, Xatari, Mike, and Dinesh. It's nice to have you both once again.
What's going on, Bill? Glad to have you.
It's going well. Dinesh, your mic is muted, just in case. There we go. Perfect.
How's that? That better? Sorry.
That is perfect.
Awesome.
I call bullshit, by the way, on the opening titles. Why is Xatari first? What is it? Xatari and Dinesh?
Well, I got it right in the title of the show. It does say Dinesh and Xatari, but I did get that backwards. I apologize. I can't take it back though once it plays.
God damn it, Bill.
I'll get it right the next time. So it's good to have you guys back as always. It seems like every time I have you guys on the show, I learn something new about myself as it relates to the hobby. So hopefully that'll happen again tonight. But you never know. So Marcus wants to know, Mike, how did you survive the Emerald City? Were you at?
Oh my gosh, Bill, it was so funny. There was this like horror story thread on the CGC forum. I said, hey, I want to know who's going out to Seattle. Anyone going to be there? I'd love to meet up. And people were like, you should see the crime. And there's like homeless everywhere and like murderers. And I was like, I posted pictures that morning. I was like, these streets are so clean. And the convention center was beautiful. It was ridiculous. It was pretty funny. I had to like shut the thread down and just be like, guys, like, let's get on topic here. Like, we don't need any of this. Who's going? That's all I want to know. I want to see you guys. That was it.
That's funny. Well,
that was pretty funny.
It's odd what they decide to focus on over there on the forums, but I'd never heard anything like that either. So
it was great.
Hey, Dinesh, have you been out to any shows of any kind? I mean, as far as just getting out, public appearances where you've been able to pick up some art?
I was with Mike in Seattle.
Oh, you were? Okay.
And I did Pittsburgh for Comics World right before that.
Oh, sweet.
And then upcoming WonderCon and C2E2. There's a ton of shows in March.
Man, you guys get out far more than I do.
It's a tour. No, we're
getting. But I don't know what Mike was talking about. Man. I got robbed 3 times. I had to step over the homeless. You're in the wrong part. You're in the nice part of town, Mike.
That was just me, man. It was just me. I needed some money. I was hungry.
So you could trade your art for a hamburger at least.
Exactly.
Well,
exactly.
So outside of that, I mean, as you know, I've got different digs here myself, but Mike, you're in a very different location as well. We're used to seeing, this well-kept bed and a guitar in the corner, and here, you've moved to the study.
I'm in your house, Dinesh. This is Scream 6. I'm traveling for work. I'm in the Valley, up in Westlake Village, and so the Four Seasons was nice enough to let me use their library, which is really sweet of them.
That is nice. That's
what's going on.
It looks nice.
Yeah. I came down to surprise Dinesh for his birthday, which is tomorrow, everybody. Dinesh's birthday is tomorrow. So please blow him up. He's turning 50 tomorrow.
Thanks, Mike. I look good for 50, huh?
Look great. Look great for 50. Terrible for 21, but great for 50. Not joking. He's not turning 50.
Well,
49.
49 forever?
No, not 49.
Get out of here.
Not even close.
Not even close.
Bill.
Well,
I just wonder
if it really is your birthday tomorrow. The link to Dinesh's CAF Gallery is in the show description, so everybody can send him an email through his CAF Gallery wishing him a happy birthday.
Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all the socials. Please just send him very racy pictures.
The comments. I'm getting a bunch of messages already.
Yeah, there will be no cake break tonight, but
I love it. I love it. Look at all these guys. Hey Joe, what's going on, man? Joseph Damon was up in Seattle. It was a good show. It was fun.
Man, I missed out. Right. That's one show I've never been to, is the show in Seattle. I mean, I've always heard good things about it, but it's just never been on my radar.
If you go. Bring a gun.
Bring a gun.
Forget about it. I cried.
Actually,
Oh,
Bill, Joseph was saying we should do a CAF Cribs down in San Diego. If you go back down to San Diego this year
okay.
with us for a night, we've got a group that goes down now annually, and should be fun this year. We'll have to do a live tour of the house.
I wouldn't mind it. I can't promise I'm going to San Diego yet this year. It's a maybe right now,
All right.
but if I can swing it, I'm definitely going to go. I wanted to go to New York this year too, so I'm debating how many shows I'm going to fill in. I'm going to be at Heroes definitely, and I'll be at MegaCon coming up. I don't know what weekend that is. A few weeks from now, I think.
Nice.
Cool.
So
Nice.
I am getting out a little bit, but yeah, San Diego. It was an expensive flight from from where I was at last year. I flew out of Florida. It was almost $1,000. So
wow, that is pricey.
Yep. So
I mean, we don't all fly first class, Bill. Some of us are back by the.
I don't think I was flying first class. It was a direct flight though.
Well, we can make up some of that money in booze if you come out.
Yep, that's true.
All the booze you can drink.
Well, I'm a lightweight, so it won't be a whole
perfect.
lot.
Even better for our podcast.
You can start training now.
That's great.
Yeah. So we do these things like every 6-7 months, it seems, and each time we do them, it's kind of a new art drop, stuff that you've been holding back from posting to your CAF galleries and sharing socially that you guys have picked up. And I can say, going through the list of stuff you guys are going to be showing off tonight, I've seen probably about 20% of these in auctions over the last 6 months. So pieces that we've talked about either on a heritage recap, or I've featured here or there, and some of the pieces we've just seen in different ways. So it's cool to be able to see them now and be able to talk about them tonight with you guys versus just dropping them on your CAF gallery and then just kind of passing by. That's what I think is fun about these, and doing the art drops this way and getting everybody to kind of see it in real time and enjoy what you guys bring all the time. It's because, as we know, you guys have a strong network of people who help you not only find stuff, but you help friends find artwork as well. So it's been a very, I don't want to say it's profitable, but it's been a good situation for all of you to help each other, find pieces that you're looking for. And I think that as far as a network goes, I mean, we've talked about that a lot. I mean, the more friends you have in the hobby, the better off your collection tends to be.
That's
very true. Yep.
Yeah, we have to help.
There's I mean, our sort of our Telegram group is up around 25 or so pretty active members. I love, there's this great African proverb that's and it's been quoted a lot, but if you want to go fast, go alone, and if you want to go far, go together. And I think that when we look at art collecting, that's kind of how we approach it. Is there are people who can go quickly and sort of be a flash in the pan and burn out quickly, but if you have a strong support and a network of people who are not out to get you but looking out for you, everyone wins that way. So we're pretty fortunate that way.
Yeah, I'm almost every. I think I'm just thinking about the pieces in today's list. I think every single one of these, Mike, you helped me get, or I think a couple came from your collection.
Mm. Yeah,
and I think I helped you with a lot of ones in the one in your round today.
Agreed. Yeah, it's fun. Can't wait. Let's do it. We've got so many pieces tonight.
We do. We should just jump in and talk about them. I'm sure several of these have very good stories on how you pick them up. So, Mike, you get to lead us off this time around. So let me highlight your first piece of art here, and of course, it's a beautiful Kirby Coletta piece.
Yeah, this is really cool. This actually was a friend of mine turned me onto this piece. So this is from Thor 165, which is considered sort of the first full appearance, as sort of the comic book collectors designated the first full appearance of him as Warlock, or not as Warlock, as him. Obviously, he appeared earlier in the Fantastic Four series, but this is just such an epic piece. 4 panels of Kirby. Coletta gets a lot of poo online, but I think he did a pretty nice job on this stuff. And I was really happy to grab this. I grew up reading the Infinity Gauntlet and all the Infinity series. And so when a buddy turned me onto this and said, "Hey, I know where this piece is. Would you be interested?" I jumped at the chance and can't wait, man. This is such a fun piece to have, and certainly sort of a childhood dream come true here.
Yeah, well, Coletta gets a lot of grief, and some of it
Yeah.
deservedly so. But his work on Thor
Sure.
was always top notch. I mean, I feel like that was some of
I
his
agree.
best work for Marvel, and
Yeah.
really memorable stories. I mean, and I think that probably helped him, want to even do better. But yeah, I've got no complaints with Coletta on Kirby during his run with Thor.
Yeah. This is, I'm looking through the chat. This is from issue 165. Yeah. It's that classic black cover. It's kind of hard to get in high grade because of that black cover. And it just says him with this giant exclamation point, and Thor sitting there with his hammer. Just a really, really cool piece. Here he's trying to take, I think this is Lady Sif, if I'm not mistaken. He's trying to like take her away, and Thor won't have any of it. He's not going to let it go. So
it's a great page, man. I mean, and a huge book, a huge character, especially with the film.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how they sort of portray Warlock. I mean, it was weird that he was left out of some of the Infinity stuff. So I'm curious how they explain some of that, or at least make amends, so to speak. But I love Warlock, just classic.
Yeah, no, I agree. And on this one, I always talk about the 4-panel layout. I love. It's such a simple panel layout, but it's so it's hard to pull off well.
Yeah,
but Kirby always does a fantastic job on it.
Well, and just the emotion. I mean, that bottom right too with Thor's face. I mean, the anguish and the dismay. It's awesome. I mean, you get some action in there. You get Warlock, who's just almost like a Neanderthal here grabbing, and it's fun. It's a fun page. Great perspective on these two.
Indeed. Yeah, Marcus.
Yeah, lots of Kirby flourishes.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's very true, Marcus. You're right. It is. And also, Bill, for tonight, just to make it easy too, if anyone wants to see these, I made all of the pieces that I'm sharing tonight, like sort of my premiere, like my gallery homepage. So you can go, right to my gallery and see all these on the front page now.
Well, you're making it too easy for everybody.
I know.
I've not done any of that work.
You're busy. You're much busier than I am right now.
Yeah, that's true. Cosmo says it would be a good dramatic reading page. Yes, that would be a very good page to do that on too. Without question. So let's see here. What do we got for you, Dinesh, to get you started? This is a classic Amazing Spider-Man 31 page.
Unreal, man.
Yeah, classic Ditko Spidey 31. This was a private deal. And again, one of those things, I knew that collector for a while, and another collector is very good friends with them. And when they were talking about how to raise some funds, this is one of the pages that came up, and he suggested me. I got the first call. Was very happy to pick up. This is a first appearance book. I love first appearances. And this page features both Green Goblin, or I should say Harry Osborn, and Gwen Stacy in their first appearance issue. And it's Ditko. How can you go wrong with Ditko?
Dude, amazing. I was so jealous when you let me know that you got this thing. I mean, Gwen is all of it. She's like one of my absolute favorites, obviously, with Spider-Gwen, but this is OG Gwen and just beautiful.
Yeah, I love this Parker also. I mean, who doesn't? It's he's nerdy, tall, lanky Parker.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. Because first Gwen, Harry's first. It's awesome.
Yep.
So happy to have it. And I don't get to post a lot of this is a pain because I don't have a scanner big enough, so I don't post a lot of the gold the Silver Age stuff that I have, especially the Ditkos, but I wanted to try and stitch this together.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah,
really nice one, man.
Dave Kopecki mentions it's a lot of text, but you know what? It works just fine the way it is. I mean, I don't mind the word balloons like they are at all. And I mean, come on, it's Ditko Spidey. I mean, as we all know, Ditko Spidey is kind of the top of the food chain as far as OA goes. I mean, even when I was collecting 20 years ago, Ditko Spidey was 2 or 3 times higher than the nearest whatever pedigree OA was out there, and even today it maintains that just because of its the historic significance of it. And again, you're getting Ditko at his best here as a storyteller. So this stuff is so much fun. I mean, I don't I don't mind all the copy in there, and in fact it's kind of makes it a little bit even more fun. I love that first panel. I mean, the classic little Ditko, little sparks flying out. I mean, that's I mean, you could just see a spark and know that it's Ditko. So this whole page is just, it's amazing. I really love it.
Yeah, it's a bit of a time machine, right? I was lucky if this page had Spidey in action or in costume or a big, villain in costume, it would have been 2 or 3 times what I paid for it. So I'm very happy that you get to see Ditko's, they're doing sciencey stuff and Ditko flourishes and the hand lettered sound effects. It's awesome. I couldn't love it more if they were in battle.
Right. And
So
that's
cool.
But for for this era, it doesn't. I mean, as a collector, you're happy if it's Spidey in costume or not, just because again, it's a Ditko. But it's true though. A page like this, like you said, is going to be exponentially more affordable than one where it's Spidey in costume, even if he's only in 1 or 2 of the panels, and if he's battling somebody, it could be 3 times what you paid for it. You just never know.
Yeah, and I've avoided Ditko. I have some Ditkos, but I don't buy too many because I just can't justify going that high when I could get 2 or 3 other pieces I like just as much that are a little modern that aren't Ditko Spidey in costume. There's Ditko Spidey action collectors, they're nuts.
That's true. That is true.
Bad value.
I love that you have Gwen in 4 of the 7 panels here. That's incredible.
Yeah, Gwen's in 4. I think Harry's in 4 as well. Aunt May in the bottom.
Yeah. Yep.
Peter and a bunch of
Love it, man.
Well, the funny thing is you could actually argue that Ditko drawing everyday life is just as good as him doing a battle scene, right? Because that was kind of, he always enjoyed that type of character. And here you've got, every panel is all about, Peter's day. And it's awesome. I mean, that's Ditko's sweet spot, I think, as far as a creator and the things that he wanted and the kind of stories he wanted to tell. So this is really, it's a fantastic page.
Yeah, it's just too bad that Gwen Stacy dies and there's no future for the character.
Too funny. I love, and to Dave's point too, it is wordy and I love that. Like, I think it's something that we miss right now on modern OA is just having the words and the description. It's really fascinating. And I just love that. I love the storytelling and just to sit there and soak in like what's going on is really cool.
Yep. Nope. I very much agree on that one. Let's see. So now we got you both, I don't know if you've arranged this or not, but 2 color pieces for your second round. So
nice.
Over to you, Mike.
Oh, I love
this is cool. This is the sort of the front piece of Spider-Geddon #0. And that probably doesn't mean a lot to maybe seasoned collectors or vintage collectors, but Spider-Geddon 0 is the first appearance in comics of this particular Spider-Man. This is the Spider-Man from all the PlayStation games and the computer game that's out now. It was originally a Sony exclusive. You'll see this. I showed Dinesh at Seattle. I mean, guys cosplay this specific Spider-Man because it's a very unique story. And I loved this piece. It's Clayton Crane, who's just a master. And I found this from a collector, had it on CAF, and I stalked him for a bit. And he finally agreed to sell it to me. And I just couldn't be more grateful to have this in my collection. It's beautiful. It's framed. It's on my wall, and just stunning in person too. Massive, bright, and I don't have a lot of color pieces, and so this was a cool piece to have.
And this is painted. Yes. Is this water paint? Yeah. Clayton's super talented. He did a ton of work for
it. Might be acrylic. I don't recall if it's water or acrylic. I'd have to go check it out.
Acrylic. And he builds in layers, which you can really see here.
Yeah.
It's crazy when he does that.
It's neat. He is just fantastic, in terms of his artistic ability. Dude's at the top of his game.
Yeah, it's a really fun piece. I like the spider webbing being, not being the heavy spaghetti webbing, just a thin line. That's kind of fun, different.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed. Love seeing the souls too. The souls of the Spider-Man are different. They're it's just really cool. Yeah, you see in the chat a lot of people have played this game. It's fantastic. If there's any gamers online who are checking this thing out and you haven't played this game, I can't recommend it enough. It's so fun. And then they followed it up with the Miles game, which was really cool to see Peter and Miles interaction. And so I'm very curious to see how that's all going to play out. In fact, in the Spider-Verse trailer, the next one that's coming out in later this year, I think it's over the summer, this guy shows up. He's in the background. You can see him in a couple scenes on the trailer. So I'm excited to see how he comes out into the story.
Cool. And is this 11 by 17?
I believe it is. Yeah. I'd have to double check on the measurements. I don't have it right in front of me. But yeah, it's a nice size.
Sweet. And you you didn't stalk somebody so much so that they had to report you or anything, right?
I mean, if you got the reports, I didn't hear of it.
I didn't. You know, it didn't reach my desk, so it wasn't bad stalking on CAF.
The CAF police have been alerted. But that's honestly, for any new collectors, that's always
Mhm.
my my go-to is I found most of my pieces just by asking people, hey, any chance you're willing to sell that thing? Or would you consider an offer? Not just would you sell it, but would you consider an offer right now?
Mhm.
I think if
It's
you
very
ask
polite.
respectfully, and there's some really good articles that people have written over the years, members on CAF. I think Dino actually wrote a pretty nice one or did a video on it on how he sort of approaches that. That was really instrumental to me as a new collector, and so I took that to heart, and that's really how I've secured a lot of the pieces that I have. It's just asking and inquiring, and then following up, making sure that you're staying top of mind because you never know how things change, right? People who are really heavily invested in crypto may be more willing to sell right now, and that's okay. It's good. Life circumstances change.
That is very true. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I've got people that ask me about stuff too, so I don't
Yeah.
mind. I always, politely say no,
Same.
but thanks for letting me know. And
But it's always
Yeah.
nice, right, to have the interest, to have the offer. It's, you're always curious. Oh, what is this thing worth these days?
right.
Yeah.
What do people think of it?
Yeah. Yeah, and Bill, that's actually a great feature on CAF. I love that you have those emails there where you can
Mm.
look at your piece and see sort of the email communication back there. 'Cause sometimes I'll be like, gosh, I remember somebody asked about that. I can't remember exactly, I'm ready to sell this thing now. And having that email thread right there is really, really convenient.
Yeah, I a lot of people don't know it's there, so I always have to remind them that they can go and look at the pieces and see the email account, the email counts for each piece, and then go check and see what
Yep.
were the emails they got on them. But yeah,
Yeah.
we could probably do a better job of making that obvious. But yeah, no, I use it all the time too.
There's a function on each piece of art that shows you when you've been emailed in the past,
Yeah.
even years ago.
Yeah. All your email communication for that particular
that.
piece, if someone has reached out to you. And so I always I leave my personal information in those emails, right? I click, share my email so that if things change down the road, that they can contact me and reach back out. It's a really nice feature.
Well, while we're talking about the next piece here, I'll share my gallery and I'll show you where it is.
Yeah.
Dinesh. But most people don't know about it, but it is there, especially, and so it's very helpful when you're, when maybe you're thinking about selling it. You'll be able to go back and see how many people inquired, shoot them an email. It is very helpful. So
remember when dear person that offered before, remember when I called you an idiot and said your offer was too low?
Yes,
I have reached
now I need your help.
Bailey has a horror story about some of that. It's pretty funny. I'll tell you offline, Dinesh.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, well here's Dinesh's round 2 piece, and like I said, it's a colored piece as well. And
dang,
doozy by Mr. Jusko.
Masterpieces. I love these 92 Joe Jusko Marvel Masterpieces. I have another one. I have one of the chase cards, the Wolverine versus Sabretooth spectral extral trading card, but I don't have one of the regular set. They've become very sought after. I was lucky enough to do a trade recently and pick this one up. Card number 30, even though it says card number 29 on the thing. I'm super happy with it. They're tiny though. They're gorgeous.
Yeah, it's everybody loves this series of cards, right? Jusko's art was just amazing, and this was one of my favorite cards too. I mean, he's channeling Buscema, but it's Joe, and I mean it's just amazing how talented the guy was. And you figure this is over 30 years old, and I mean he's still at the top of his game today, making great work. But this whole series is so memorable. People, there's a lot of people who wish they had a piece of art from this series.
Yeah, I'm very like I've made a very concerted effort, and I gave up something really nice, but I'm very happy to have a second. I read, because I think there's a big nostalgia boom for this set. I read that there was a Kickstarter that they did recently to redo the set. And they had a tier where Jusko was going to repaint or reproduce, I should say, every one of the paintings from the set, and it sold out within an hour. I think it was like $5,000. They did 100 slots and it sold out in an hour. So people are excited about this set.
Yeah, very much so. If I would have known about it, it was funny because typically because that was done through FPG as a publisher, and they usually hit me up ahead of something, so I didn't even know it was happening. They didn't really do any advanced PR for it, and I would have picked one up from Joe because he's a hard guy to get anywhere. He doesn't do commissions. If he's at a con, he might only do one or two ink wash pieces there, so he's just a hard guy to get original art from. And the idea that he had that the painted piece opportunity, and I'm looking, it was $2,500. I mean, even not 5,000. You're right. I don't care if it's 6 by 9, or whatever the size was. I'd love to have one. So yeah, but
for fully painted reproduction, I would imagine the market would bear more.
Well, again, it's back to that scarcity.
I think so.
Yeah. But yeah,
that's crazy.
Great.
Jason saying in the chat that Fish picked this up at a flea market. That's amazing. That's crazy.
Walmart. Yeah, I think it raised over $500,000. So there was a lot of interest in this whole reproduced set. So, I mean.
And what were they doing? Were they doing a book?
They did a book. Amazing. Yeah, it was a book, and there were trading card pieces to it. There was some kind of a painted digest thing that they had put together. I can't remember all the different stuff, but so it wasn't just the book, and and then they threw in the art on top of it, and $500,000 later. I mean, I didn't even get one of these. I'm going to definitely pick one up when they're available to order direct. I think you can pre-order them right now, but I'll wait till the book is coming out. But again, damn, Dinesh, this is fantastic.
Unreal.
I'm excited.
Gosh,
it was a joke. It was I thought that didn't make sense. I know Nick Marucci, I believe, bought the whole set
for sure,
and then sold them. And I think Chuck Costas got a ton of these. I don't know if this one crossed his path.
I don't know.
But it's been in a handful of collectors' hands, not too many. I know Fish has a bunch.
Yeah, Sean.
I just loved you. Do you remember opening those packs of those cards, like when they came out? I just remember they were so premium. The gloss on those things, they were man. They were. I need to go track a set of those down. I love those.
I think
cards.
They've become pricey. I mean, not crazy, but for trading cards, trading cards had that boom during the pandemic.
It doesn't shock me. Well worth it though. It's just beautiful.
Yep, I'm envious. I'll never have one. But it's nice to know that you have one, Dinesh.
Thanks, man. You might get one. You never know.
Yeah, you never know. But I mean, it's
just go to the flea markets. Just hit up the flea markets.
Follow Jason's advice and go to flea markets. Exactly. Thank you, Jason. Hey, you can only trust half the things Jason says, but we love him regardless. I was gonna pull up that screen so I could show you the
let's see
how to see how to. The email
while you're doing that too, chat, let's get that thumbs up for Bill. Get those algorithms going.
So I don't get emails.
He's not here.
Yes, that's right. Where is Nick tonight? I thought I saw him at the beginning of this thing, but you were right. Nick did buy, I think, almost all of them, or he did buy all of them, but he knew he couldn't afford them all. So I think he sold a quarter of them or 30% of them or whatever after he bought it, just so
he had ads. I think Dynamic Forces took ads out in some books.
Yeah. I'd have to. I know it was something like that because he overextended himself. I mean, he told us that in his interview. He kind of knew he was overextending himself and that he was going to have to sell them immediately and work that out. But so here's when you go into a gallery room and you're viewing all the pieces in a room in the admin. If you've ever been emailed by somebody, there's a review emails link there. And I don't think anybody's offered to want to buy this one, but you can see here, Malcolm emailed me and, with a comment that he said it's a great piece. I mean, usually that might've just been a comment, but I do have a piece that I've been emailed a couple times about that people wanted to buy, this Gene Colan Doctor Strange. I won't click on it to show who's asked me about it, but the thing is I know that, and so if I wanted to at any time, I could click on it and I'd be able to see the emails I've gotten from it, and I can easily reply to those inquiries as well. So, but it could be done a little bit better. But at any rate, that's how you find out. You can see I don't get emailed about too many pieces in my CAF gallery, so that just tells you the
quality. I'm gonna make offers on everything tonight, Bill.
Yeah.
Every single piece.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing.
Well, we'll see.
Amazing.
But yeah, I do know a lot of people use that for that very reason, just to find past inquiries on stuff. So now this next piece, the third piece for you, Mike, I know that we did talk about this in a recap. So here, I'll pull this one up here.
It's one of my favorite things to read comments or hear people talk about pieces that we pick up and just hear their thoughts on it. It's always fascinating. I did not expect to win this. This is a New Mutants 98. It was listed as a prelim for New Mutants 98. This is the first page Deadpool appears on. And I was sort of laughing because people in that Heritage Recap bill, I think Barucci said, I don't know how to price this thing, but that seems like a good value. I'm a big Liefeld fan, and I listen to every single podcast that guy puts out. He does like 2 or 3 a week.
He does.
And what's amazing is if you listen to those, you find out a little bit about this, and it's not just a prelim. So these are Rob's original pencils. And in Rob's process, what he does is he takes these tiny little drawings like this, and then Marat Michaels in the 90s, I think it was from like New Mutants 80 something to X-Force 4-6 range. Marat would take these prelims and blow them up on a Xerox and then ink them. And so these are Rob's original pencils for what was published. And Jim Halpern actually has the published piece of this. So when I saw this and I kind of understood what was going on here, to me, this is, as early Deadpool as you can get. And you can see, if you do a side-by-side of the published image versus this, it's the same thing. It is this piece. And so when this came to auction, Dinesh and I were talking like, what's this thing worth? Deadpool page from New Mutants 98, those things are right now privately being offered $250,000 to $500,000 on the private end. So what are the original pencils of something like that worth? We didn't know how to price it either. I was expecting to go up about 3 times higher than what it ended at. And I figured I could go up maybe 2 times higher before I would have to tap out. And when it ended and hammered and no one else bid on this thing, I was ecstatic. I wanted this piece so badly, but just didn't have the funds to go what I thought it would. So, if you haven't listened to Rob Observations podcast, you can go through the history of Deadpool. There's 4 episodes on that, and you'll hear Marat and Rob just lay out exactly how they did their process at that time. But this thing's history. I love this thing.
Yeah, I'm really surprised. I was really surprised to see the price.
Shocked.
I think Forbes said 6 figures was the estimate in the quote that they had. But this, I know a lot of people that I spoke to that were regretting this, especially when they saw the price. Of course, they're like,
well, the second page. Yeah, there were 2 in this particular auction.
There were
from the same issue, and the second one went for almost the same amount as the first one. This is, in my opinion, and no disrespect to the other page or the other buyer, but this was the better of the 2 in my opinion. It's the earlier of the 2, and it went for, someone asked in the chat. It's all public, but it went for 36 with the juice. So 36,000, and to me, 36,000 versus 10 times like this page would be a $500,000 page if Jim ever decided to sell that thing. First ever Deadpool, maybe more. This was, to me, the steal of the auction, and I just sort of laughed as people were trying to figure out, what was it? Was it good? Was it bad? Was it a terrible buy? Not that dissimilar to when we bought Miles. Was that a good price? Was it a bad price?
Reading what you were going through, it looked exactly the same.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I think that Nick's comment when we did the recap sums it all up. You don't know how to price it, and so that was actually working in your favor because other people didn't know how to value it either. And so it kept the price where it was. Because in the back of my mind, I thought it could be a $75,000 piece, or it could be a $15,000. You just don't know because you can't really there's no market data to kind of set a benchmark for a piece like this.
100%. What I will say for anybody who's watching, so I do a lot of research on the art that I buy, and right now, Glenn actually has a lot of these, and there's nothing in this for me other than to tell other new collectors, like, hey, if you like New Mutants and Deadpool, and that sort of that X-Force era, there's some incredible prelims on Glenn's site right now that I think are way undervalued.
Yeah, and
that doesn't always happen.
I picked up one. I wanted two, and one of the other ones sold before I had a chance to pick it up. But I picked up one. I was really excited about it.
Yeah, I mean, they're small. These are really, really small pieces, but I mean, this is history right here. It's really,
yeah, they're
cool.
amazing in person to see the detail.
Yeah,
it's hard to capture on here because it's largely blue line and pencil line. It's hard to scan.
Well, that's awesome, and thanks. I did get a email from Marcus about the same Doctor Strange Gene Colan page. Thank you, Marcus. He's curious about
Brilliant, Marcus.
Yes,
you're going to get a lot of Marcus comments tonight.
Not selling, but thank you for asking.
What's Glenn? Someone was asking what's Glenn's page.
Panel page, right? Panel page art.
Yeah, panelpageart.com.
Yep. You can find it, I think, through CAF too. There's a link on CAF.
Yep. Oh yeah, I built Glenn's website too.
Yeah.
Oh, you did?
I did.
Nice website.
I did.
And Glenn's wonderful to work with.
He is. He wants to add a new feature to his website we've been talking about. So hopefully in the near future he'll have something fun to be doing over there. But
really quick too.
Yeah,
Bill, really quick. I can't remember who it was. There's a collector who collects like all domino pieces. There's a domino prelim from New Mutants '98 that I've been really close to buying. So someone should grab that. I mean, honestly, just collector to collector, that's a rad piece, and I've been really close and tempted on that.
And these guys do not work for Glenn. Everybody,
no affiliation with Glenn, other than
and I didn't even buy
this.
Hey, I talk about
this from Glenn.
I do the same thing all the time. I was just being funny. Yeah. Jason's being funny in the chat too. All right, what do we got here? Let's see. Now this next piece caught me by surprise, Dinesh. But
it's mine. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, this thing, yeah. I've been suckered into the world of props, and I've been buying props lately. And I didn't know, first of all, props are very affordable when you come from the original art world, because you get, I think, a lot of bang for your buck when you're comparing to original art prices. And it's a bit more unregulated, so you don't have quite the comfort, which also helps with the prices and keeping them down. But they have a lot of art. I didn't realize this. A lot of movie poster art, some comic art, a lot of storyboard art. And so this is from Terminator 1, the first Terminator movie. This is the storyboard to one of the frames in the sequence in which Sarah Connor is trying to get away from the Terminator, and she crushes him except for his arm. And I have a buddy that works at Legacy Effects, which is Stan Winston's company, what used to be Stan Winston's company. And he was over and he took a look at the art, and I asked him what he thought, and he texted one of the special effects guys that was on Terminator 1, the one that puppeteered the Terminator in this sequence, and said, "Is this Jim Cameron's?" They say James Cameron, but is this Jim's art? And he replied, "Yes, 100%," which is amazing because I don't think the auctioneer knew that either. They certainly didn't list it in the auction. But this is what he would do. So James Cameron original.
That's so
incredible.
Cool.
and it came with.
Yeah,
hold on,
please,
let me go pick it up. It's here
please show and tell here.
But it's very true. I mean, if you Prop Store has, I mean, I think they have quarterly auctions. They might have more than that because I know they do like a UK auction and a US auction and a few other things. And they typically will, they always do. And even on Prop Store, they have a marketplace and they sell a lot of art just like this, at fixed prices on their website too. So here,
so Bill was just talking about this too on his podcast. Love this.
And I also got this in the same auction, which is a screen used Terminator endoskeleton arm from the first movie. And what's fascinating, the guy that verified for me that was James Cameron's art was the one puppeteering these things. And this thing is heavy, exactly as heavy as you would want it to be, as you imagine it in the world, the universe of the movie, because they built this out of steel in the first film. And it wasn't until the second film that they figured out to use, or maybe they had the money to use foam core and latex and things that looked and then they paint it to look like metal, which is what they do now. But this thing's heavy. It's awesome.
Yeah.
That is awesome. I want one of those. That's great.
Yeah,
That is,
cool.
that
Looks
is
like
really,
a
really
shake
cool.
weight there for a second. Nice job.
See, you can hear it.
Whoa, easy.
Yeah, don't
Easy.
break it. Don't break it. Yeah, Mike just said the world's most expensive back scratcher.
Yeah, people have come over to see it, and they've done rude things with it. Very rude things.
Oh, I can only imagine.
You don't want to see that.
But that's I had no idea that Cameron did his own storyboards, or at least in part, right? I mean,
a lot of them do. I know. I've worked with James Gunn. He does his own storyboards. I think obviously Tim Burton does his own. And they'll often have multiple. So I know for Terminator 1, there's James Cameron, but there's one or two other people that also did storyboards. And on a feature, usually you have 4 or 5 different people doing the same sequence, and so it can be tricky to figure out who's who and what's what.
But you had the inside track to know that was actually done by Cameron, so that's cool.
Yes, I mean we can't know that 100%. It is
Right.
someone who worked on that film's memory from 30 years ago, so I'm sure it's a little hazy. But
Either way, I mean, Terminator 1 is one of the more most influential sci-fi movies, after Alien, right? Or Aliens, which of course he worked on too, right? So just to have anything from that film is pretty darn crazy. I mean,
allegedly they do Avatar as well. They do all the effects there, and he comes in. So when they're gearing up for the next one, he said he would show him the picture and ask Cameron himself. So that'd be nice to hear as well. But again, I wouldn't remember if I drew that or not. I suppose you can see if it's your style.
Mm-hmm. Well, too bad he didn't sign it.
I know, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's cool. And I would say that storyboard art, things from films, is something that is definitely lacking on CAF. But for those of you out there who collect those, I know we're called comic art fans, and that stigma of the word comic keeps a lot of art off of CAF, whether it's illustration art or things like that. But I would encourage everybody, to post this kind of work to CAF.
Oh yeah.
We all would appreciate it, and don't let the word comic in the title of our website hold you back from posting stuff like this on our site.
I mean, even I have some Night Before Christmas storyboards and Batman and Back to the Future. I feel weird. I never know, is it appropriate to post or not? So that's good to know. I got a lot of people feel that way.
Yeah,
there's a best of category for that.
For storyboards?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Media artwork. Yeah. So that would fall right into that.
Yep. That's really cool.
Let's see here. Next up for you, Mike.
Marcus is just on fire. Pretty funny.
Yeah.
Oh wow, this thing.
Kyle Holtz is pretty darn amazing, isn't he?
This just came out not that long ago. If anyone in the chat is not reading the series, go grab it, and you're probably gonna have to get it digitally because it's sold out everywhere. This is from Batman and Joker Deadly Duo, and this is Mark Silvestri's baby. I've tried to solicit for the original art. He is not selling anything from this series. He does all the cover A's, all the interiors. He's worked on this thing for 7 years or something like that. And so I really I love the series. I would love to get a Silvestri piece, but that's not going to happen. And so I thought, okay, so what's the next best thing? And it was to go after some of the variant covers, right? This is actually a variant from issue 1. And so you see Batman, Joker, you got this new villain in the background sort of brooding. And so out of all the variants, this was the only other one that had sort of the main crux of all the stuff. And you're right, Kyle just nailed this. I couldn't believe it was still available. I hit him up on Instagram. He had this thing to me in 3 days. I was blown away by how responsive he was.
Cool.
Really, really neat. Sometimes you get these horror stories with artists and sometimes with reps and dealers too. But Kyle, responded right away on Instagram. We made a deal that night. I sent payment the next day, and it was being shipped. I mean, he said, "Hey, I've got a deadline coming up, but here's when I'm going to ship it." And like clockwork, it was right on time. So really, really glad to have this. I love the series. Liefeld talks about this on his podcast too. I mean, he really thinks and this is a bold statement. This is Liefeld with a bold statement saying, "Hey, since Dark Knight, this may be one of the biggest things to hit Batman." I mean, so that'll tell you Silvestri is it's a labor of love from him.
I haven't read it yet, but I've heard amazing things. I'm not familiar with this artist, but he's great. I love
You
how
should
his
check.
textiles look like they're being poured on. Someone said visual-esque. It's a Kelly Jones through the lens of Tim Vigil.
Exactly. Yep. And Kelly Jones actually did one of the variants as well, which is really
Oh
cool.
yeah.
Yeah,
Cool.
it's really neat. So Kelly's got some cool stuff in there. And Dinesh, you don't even have to go out and get it because I'm looking at tracked packages and it arrived at your doorstep today, just in time for your birthday.
You sent me the series to read. You're very, very kind. Thank you, dude.
Should
Very
be
cool.
there. Yeah, or out for delivery.
When can I expect mine? I haven't read that series either.
On
but
your
now
birthday.
You're making me
Yeah.
feel like I need to read it too.
I honestly, Bill, I tried to find this in Seattle for him because we were together, and it's like, oh, this is cool. You know, people think that Dinesh and I live down the street from each other. We live like 450 miles apart from each other. But I wanted to find this thing for his birthday. Every in Seattle was sold out. They're like, the problem was it wasn't solicited well by DC. So dealers basically were buying this thing sight unseen, under ordered issue 1 altogether, and have been sort of trying to get back into play. I think they're going to do like a trade paperback or something pretty soon where they're going to recap at least the first 4 to 5 issues. But it's epic. Really, really cool art.
It's a tricky time for comics right now. Everyone, the last 6 or 8 months, every publisher is down 50, 80% in terms of sales. Massive, massive drops from where they were a year ago with the pandemic. And also this book it should have been a mainstream media sensation, but we haven't seen much press on it.
Yeah, I didn't even recognize the title when it when it was in your list. I hate to say it. I was like, "What the heck is Batman?" And I actually Googled it because I was, I wanted to see the published image just to see what the heck this book was all about. But I didn't read a summary of it. But I'll wait for the trade. I'll get it.
Look at Silvestri's Harley Quinn is arguably the best Harley Quinn I've ever seen. I mean, it is just gorgeous. Bailey and I were talking about this. It's tragic because here's Silvestri, like a massive chunk. I mean, he's in his prime, this massive chunk of his life's work that he spent these years on it. And unfortunately, just bad timing. They're not marketing it well. That's a bummer.
They don't, I mean, there's no, I can tell you as a publisher right now, it's very difficult to market anything. There's really no media. There's no journalism in the comics business right now outside of Bleeding Cool. You have to get on social. And
I never really thought about that, but that's true, isn't it? You don't really have a marketing arm promoting comics like should be happening. That's interesting.
Yeah, 10 years ago, CBR, That's Become Listicles, Multiversity gone. Newsarama basically gone. Comics Alliance gone. MySpace Comics, that was huge 10 years ago, gone. Yahoo News doesn't report on anything anymore, let alone comics. I mean, it's all gone.
Right. You get a few things in IGN, and but I mean, that's not enough to kind of carry an industry at all. That's odd, given the fact that comics really saw. I mean, they're kind of on the downturn, right? But at the beginning of the pandemic, there was so much interest back in graded books and comics, and it's just weird that nobody has really kind of gone in to try to fill that space and do more promotion for current books.
There's a couple trying. Popverse is trying, and Graham McMillan and Chris Arana are over there, and they're very, very good. But IGN, IO9, Boingo Boingo, they've all moved away. And I think what's happened is it's clicks. They have a certain amount of content they want to give to comics, and they give it all to the MCU, which, in their mind, is comics, not movies.
Right. That's unfortunate. But you mentioned not being familiar with Kyle Holtz's work. I mean, his stuff, he's been, he's been in comics like 15, probably 20 years. And I can tell you, ask Mike if he likes Berkey, because he has stacks of Kyle's work.
Really?
Stacks of it. I couldn't even tell you what it is because it's almost all like bagged. He doesn't even probably know what he's got, but he's got a ton of Kyle Holtz's work because he loves him. He's like, he's the next Wrights, and I've always loved his stuff. So he would just see him at a show and he'd buy everything. This is like 10, 15 years ago. So he has a lot of Kyle's artwork, but anyway, so just putting that out there. But speaking of Batman, we have another Batman related piece here next, and this is a DPS from Long Halloween. Whew.
Yes, Tim Sale. I love Long Halloween. It's one of the best Batman stories. Wanted to get a piece of it for a while. Ended up doing a deal where I was lucky enough to get 5 pieces from it. Another collector, David Miller, hooked the deal up. He's wonderful. He's great. He's a great negotiator. Great at setting up these transactions, these private trades or deals. And this was the DPS among the pages, and I just love obviously the style. Tim Sale, it's iconic Batman at this point, and just super happy to have something from that run.
No, this is it's fantastic. I mean, this is I don't read a lot of DC, but I always love the Long Halloween, and so this is a great piece. I mean, losing Tim last year was a blow to everybody, but at least while he was out there, he was prolific and he made such amazing pieces. I mean, this is a gorgeous DPS, and the idea that you picked up 4 other pieces as well.
Yeah, very lucky. I texted him to Mike this morning and I was like, which one do I use for the by the way, thank you for letting me send the list so late.
No, it was fine, man. I didn't have a problem with it.
But this is great. It's got that awesome scarecrow hat, that really minimalistic face, the really striking lighting that's giving all those shadows, that nice close-up of the guy in the bottom right that's very Tim Sale. So it feels like it's a great example of a lot of things he does well and frequently.
Yeah, no, definitely. But yeah, so this was from issue 10.
10. Yeah.
Were the other 4 pages from the same issue, or?
No, that's what was wonderful. They were from different issues, and
sweet.
And they were all different. So one's a DPS, another is a big chapter splash, another is a splash that's a revelation at the end of one of the issues. They started and ended with splashes. Another one is a 6-panel page, and I forget the other. But there was a variety of things.
Dang. Well, it's an embarrassment of riches there. That's great though, man. You ask and you shall receive, Dinesh. I mean, let me ask you, what's next on your primary wish or want list, if you had one?
Not a lot. I mean, Valiant right now.
Still,
I'm back on a Valiant kick. But it depends. I'm struggling at the moment because I look at this is such a champagne problem, but I'd heard older collectors tell me this. They're like, why didn't you bid on that? Why didn't you buy that? That's amazing. And they would explain, well, I have something else like that, and I needed to be clearly a better example than what I have before I try to upgrade. Mm-hmm. I'm starting to get into that territory a little bit. But I'm trying to move. I'm trying to be a little more like Mike. I'm trying to move a little more modern. If everyone's looking at 90s and 90s isn't the value it was, what about late 90s? How's that look? Yeah. I think I have even a piece in here that's part of that kind of thinking later on.
Yeah. I think for me too, I feel like I cleaned out a lot of the Marvel characters I was after. I'm starting to go into DC a little bit. So you DC collectors, expect an email from me. But I'm, it's been fun. And I think that that's kind of cool. For me, the hobby, it's not just like the appreciation of the art or the artist. I love all that. It's also the connections that you make, and the hunt to me is so much fun. Stanley's asking if we ever loan our art to museums. Yeah, we have a couple pieces in museums right now. Our Ultimate Fallout 4 cover that we share together. So First Miles is in the Spidey exhibit. Dinesh, I think you actually have a couple pieces. I think I have a Pacelli cover that's in that exhibit.
12 pieces at museums right now.
Is that how many right now?
Yeah.
Dang.
Fallouts. You've got the cover, got the cover.
Yeah, you might be right. Yeah, and more coming. Well, we have been solicited for a couple of things, so we're always happy to loan our pieces out. We look at them as if we're stewards of it. We want to share it. We don't want to hoard it. That's why we post everything. That's nothing against black hole collectors. I get that mentality as well. I think that there's a place for that. It's just not how we choose to collect in the hobby, and so we want to share it with all of you and let you see it and touch it and experience it, all that stuff.
Yeah, it's also kind of shitty, right? I mean, we didn't draw it. It's not our art. It's not our choice.
Yeah.
To say no one else can see it except for it's in a binder somewhere is not cool. Yeah. If there's an opportunity for us with very low impact, very low time commitment, be able to get it out there, yet still have the ownership of it, and eventually it'll come back to us. We'll be able to look at it privately. There's no reason not to.
Exactly. And we wouldn't have had that incredible Marvel exhibit if guys like Eric Roberts or Dave Mandel were willing to, let them borrow the artwork for several years. Chuck, exactly. So no, it's
awesome. Mike and I get to go down there. We get to stand right next to the art and watch people come over and be like, "Wow, oh my God, is that the original?" And we just sit there and watch it. Who doesn't love that?
Oh my gosh. Watching a little boy dressed as Miles in front of the Miles cover was just priceless. For me, that was like amazing. I love that stuff.
Yeah, and Rick's right. Albert had pieces in there. Halpern had
Yeah.
pieces in there. Hans had
Glenn did.
artwork. I think Will Gabrielle had some pieces in it.
Yeah.
There were a lot of well-known collectors in the hobby that had pieces in the Marvel exhibit and others. The Spidey exhibit, I think Mike put several pieces in that.
He did, yeah.
So yeah, it's important to do it, especially, you know, they're safe, secured, insured, and sometimes they even get framed better than they
get framed amazingly.
They come back in a much better shape than when they went out.
It's incredible. When we were talking to Patrick about that, I mean, the temperature control, the lighting control that they have on these things, the humidity. I mean, it's definitely better than it's in my house. I mean, that's,
what do they call it? Like psycho lighting? It's that, like, the museum lighting, where if you take a photograph, it looks funny. It looks like the light's jumping around because it's not quite as fast as regular light, so it doesn't hurt the art. And they have climate control sealed frames, right?
Mm-hmm.
The frames are amazing. I think they were like $1,000 a piece just for the frames. All that went into it. Marcus, get a free plane ticket. I wish, man. I still went down there on my dime.
you got in for free though, at least.
Got not into the exhibit.
In the exhibit, yeah.
Although you never can be sure, right? You walk up and you're like, are we gonna get in free? Should we buy a ticket?
That's definitely a story. Yes, that was funny.
Well, I mean, that's why you got to go with Ben. You know, if he's there, and
he's great.
Yeah, no, Ben's
and
awesome.
That soundtrack, man, that soundtrack to the museum was other level. I listen to that thing all the time. So good.
They keep saying they're going to release it. I'm hoping they do.
I think they did.
Oh, they did? On like as an album, a physical thing?
Yeah. Patrick posted it.
Oh,
I'll send it to you.
Yeah,
yeah, it's good.
Well, let's keep this thing going here. What do we got next? Another Batman piece, this time by Bell.
Yeah, so I mentioned, moving into some of the DC arena. Bailey got me reading this whole story arc of Jace Fox and Future State and this new Batman. So Jace Fox is the son of Lucius Fox. Yeah, exactly, Bailey. I was really lucky to pick up a page from this issue, an interior during the CAF Live event that we did. And I just read right through. I blitzed through it, all the issues, and I was like, man, I really dig this, and I like where they're going with this. And so I wanted to get a cover from this character. And the first cover, the cover A from this is his sort of first full appearance as the new Batman. It's digital, and so there was no original art from it. But Coipel did the B cover, and so I hit up Quan, and this was definitely more than I wanted to pay for a modern cover, but it's also just epic. It checked a couple boxes for me. So first appearance cover and Coipel, two things that I love. I didn't have a Coipel in my collection yet, and so I mean, this thing again in person is just beautiful. I mean, really, really fantastic. All the different methods he's using and the shading on this piece is awesome. So again, this one's going to be framed for sure.
This is a beautiful piece. Just as a piece
it's pretty. Yeah, and you can see with Jace, he's got this face mask originally. It's shattered here. This is actually from a different arc, so they repurposed this moment for the first appearance cover, which is cool.
That's really nice. And I know, Coipel's covers are they command a good price. I mean, deservedly so. He's amazing. He's absolutely amazing. And so he's not at the Jim Lee level yet, but I mean, but it's nice to see. I like the fact that modern artists are getting their due. I mean, I know it hurts sometimes when you think about it, but these guys they have to put food on the table, put their kids through college and everything too, and so it's nice. I mean, Coipel, I've always admired his work a great deal, and and you guys have a good eye. Remember, like Chung, right? You love his work too, and I mean, same caliber of talent. Just everything he does is amazing. So this is
and I'll tell you,
they're younger.
Bill, up in Seattle, we were shocked. We were at Philip Tam's table too. We saw one of the best X-Men pieces I've ever seen in my life that hasn't been published yet. And it is fantastic. I mean, truly other level. I hope that comes to comes to the public very soon, but it was pretty neat. If you want to see more Coipel and specifically this series, Quan has still pages from this issue available, or sorry, a later issue available. Same character, but it's all Coipel, and it's on his site right now. Pages, just so you know, are not cheap. So if you are prone to being easily shocked, don't go over there. But if you want to see some great art, check it out.
Yeah, very true.
Oh, Jason, you did. Yeah, I do too. I sent him an email right away and said, please let me know if you decide not to get that. I also sent an email to Kirk right away. Hey, if he doesn't pay by end of show, I'm ready to go.
You're giving away all your secrets, Mike.
Yeah.
This thing was incredible. I didn't believe Mike. He told me that he was there a day earlier than I was, and he told me about it. And I was like, "Come on, man, how good can it be?" When I saw it, I totally got it. It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's very reminiscent of peak era Jim Lee doing peak work. Jim Lee.
Yeah.
Philip is really on a monster track right now.
Really, I mean, he's next up. I think. I mean, based on what we saw there, I don't see it any other way.
Yeah, agreed.
Marcus, you're asking what pages they are from. If you go to Coipel's page on Quan's site, it's I Am Batman issue number 1. Specifically, if you look at like page 3, I'm looking at right now. I mean, just epic, truly epic. So, again, this is from a little bit later issue, but pretty fantastic.
Very, very nice. Now, this is a very memorable piece as well. Let's take a look at that one. It is signed by Stan Lee.
So cool.
But come on, Marvel Civil War, DPS from issue 1, man. This is crazy.
I wasn't even looking for something from Civil War. I saw this at an auction where I was looking at other pieces, and it came up, and I thought, wow, Civil War number 1, McNiven, what an incredibly important issue, mainstream hit. McNiven, this is peak McNiven, and he's awesome. And I was watching the auction. I was shocked at how low it was. So I picked this up. Very happy I did. I've been looking at other Civil War issue 1 pages as well since, but it's surprising. I think this might be in a period where it's just old enough for people have forgotten, but not. It's just young enough people have forgotten it, but not old enough where people are remembering it. So hopefully I get in a little early. But this feels like very much a showpiece for the book. It's the two of them opposing each other. Big vista. Stanley's signature, not the worst placement. He could have signed Captain America's face.
There is or Iron Man's shoulder, I guess. But
yeah,
no, he did a good job putting it right there.
Yeah,
so excited. And this is that answer to that question you asked earlier, I guess, which is what am I looking for now? The big pieces are hard to dislodge when one comes up, you jump, but you have to wait a long time, and you still get excited about adding pieces. So trying to find stuff that is maybe in this period that everyone's not quite looking for just yet, so you can buy it without feeling the pinch too much.
Yeah, Jason mentions McNiven isn't selling his art anymore either, so it's a good pickup.
I didn't know that. Yeah,
I didn't know that either.
A lot of these guys are stopped doing that. It's smart. They've seen the prices, and they know it's retirement for them. They can sit on it for a little while.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, we've talked about that a lot on the channel too. Just artists today just wisening up a little bit, holding on to certain pieces for retirement or what have you. If they don't need to sell it, a lot of them are choosing not to, and that's okay, right? I mean, they got to think long term too. Yeah.
I just hit up Joseph Damon about a new solicitation that came out from Dan Slott about a new Spider-Man character this week. It sort of broke the internet yesterday, and hit up Joe right away. I said, Joseph, tell me about this cover. I want to get it. And we chatted with Humberto Ramos in Seattle, and he's like, I'm not selling that stuff. He keeps issue number 1 of all of his major series, all of the original art to it. And we chatted with him. I was joking, kind of ribbing him and saying, hey, I really want that Champions 1 issue in completion. And he's like, it's not about the money for me. It's just not. He's been offered, a very, very handsome sum for some of his Disney Marvel covers. And he's just not selling, which I love. I respect that so much when an artist isn't just about the dollar, but about the actual craft of what they're doing. And you can tell. That's cool.
Definitely. But yeah, great get there. Civil War, obviously,
Thanks.
very memorable book, and yeah, you've got probably one of the better DPSs in it.
I love Charles' comment in there. I'm thankful most comic art fans are traditionalists and typically steer away from painted faces.
That's awesome.
It's great. Nice
Oh,
work, Charles.
Let's see. Switching publishers here, going over to piece by Javier Fernandez.
Man, this was like some heartache from both ends, I think. So first, Punchline, in her full sort of reveal here. Punchline's been a great character for DC. A lot of people sort of looked at her as a knockoff Harley. She's a very different character, and so I've really kind of jumped into some of the lore, mythology, and story arcs. This came from Bailey, and I can't thank you enough, Bailey. I've gotten some great pieces from you. Had to give up some trade and some cash on this one, and it hurt. I gave up some pieces that I wanted to keep as well, but really, really grateful to have friends like Bailey who is willing to make a deal with me on this. Very, very cool piece.
Yeah, ultra modern, but already famous and memorable.
Yeah. When you see Punchline versus Harley too, you see in Harley kind of this whimsical, kind of goofy, which I love. I love Harley to death. And Punchline is just like a psychopath. I mean, literally, she is just insane and true evil. Harley kind of has this side of her that seems like, oh, I kind of like her. She's kind of like Venom, where she starts as a villain and kind of morphs into this anti-hero and beloved by fans. And now, Punchline is just not that. She's lethal, and I love it.
Yeah, Tim says he missed out on some pieces from March from Batman with Punchline. Yeah, I mean those did all go really quickly.
Yeah, was that Annabelle, I think, selling all that stuff?
Yeah.
I mean, Kim is just ridiculous. He's, again, just another artist that I love. But yeah, I miss those too.
But yeah, all the Marvel fans are breathing a sigh of relief to see you guys switching over.
It's because we cleaned up all the Marvel stuff.
Well, you checked a lot of your boxes for Marvel, but that's where you started and spent a lot lot of working towards that.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, there's the Marvel stuff that's still on my bucket list. I probably just will never be able to afford or justify, but it's pretty cool.
Well, that is nice. And but we'll switch back to Marvel with this next one for Dinesh, a Jay Lee.
Oh, Yelena.
Yeah,
love this.
I got this from Mike, actually. This is Inhumans 5. It's the first appearance of Yelena. Although CGC says not her face not shown. I guess you can see an eye and a nose. That's about it. I think, Mike, you've got a piece in here later that's also Yelena, right?
I do. Yep.
Okay.
One of my favorite characters.
But yeah, I mean, she's awesome. I love her in the books, but man, she kills in the MCU. Florence Pugh is amazing as Yelena. Every scene she's in, she steals. So hopefully they do more with her. And that means they do more with her in the books. She's a great character. And it's just awesome to have a page like this. Plus, Jay Lee's so talented.
Yeah.
To see his style like this on paper and not digital is great.
Yeah, the negative space in here is beautiful. This book, she's only in 3 pages. So this whole issue with Yelena, there's only 3 pages with her in there. It's killer. She's in Thunderbolts, in terms of MCU type of stuff. She's going to have a prominent role in that movie. She was in the Hawkeye series. Dinesh, this last panel, actually, I wish that, this is the bummer about, we talked about all the words on the Ditko Spidey page, but I wish they had the word balloons here, because in that last panel, she actually says, I'm the Black Widow. This is like her coming out page of announcing she's the new Black Widow, which is killer. And actually that last page, I know some people collect NFTs and they're on VV as well. That last panel is actually the secret rare cover that they used for that NFT. So this is a really, really killer page.
Yeah, I was surprised you let it go, and I know why. I know you took down some big guns afterwards. Very happy to jump on it the second you let it go. and love
Yeah.
that it's still kind of in the, in the circle.
Yeah, a couple people picked off some really cool pieces that weekend. You got some really good ones. Raj got some good ones. So the story is, people always ask, like, well, why would you ever sell? I was at the moment looking to buy a house at the beach, and I was making this big cash grab, and the house didn't end up working out. And I had this one weekend where I opened up, like I said, nothing's off the table, anything in my gallery. And so I had some people pick off some incredible pieces. I had to give up a Marvel Spotlight 5 page, some Yelena, some Kamala Khan, J. Scott Campbell Wolverine as Deadpool cover. Really, really pieces that I loved. But it was a weekend that I thought, life.
You didn't mention
changes
it's
were
in
happening.
this show later on, but you didn't mention the other page I got from you, which is the one that I got more upset people at me. Wow, I can't believe I wanted that one.
I know. I know.
So I'm excited for that one. To see that one here.
It was a 2-day, 3-day fire sale that will never happen again, ever.
You've learned your lesson. You won't sell the art until you've inked the deal for the house, right?
Yeah. Yep.
But now we've just made you more powerful because you've been running around picking off, I should say, all these amazing.
That's true. Actually, yeah. So what was funny is when the house fell through, very next week, that's when I bought my Black Cat page from Berkey, right? So I instantly, people were like, "Well, you're going to sit on the money?" No, like I'm a big fan of art. I believe the art market's strong, and so I immediately reinvested it into other pieces. I just think it's, didn't want to let that money sit.
Well, I've actually owned a few of those Inhumans pages, but I don't. Yeah. I sold them, but I'd love to get one back. I saw a couple other people saying, they are hard to come by. But I loved his style, on that book. I mean, it was, his style has evolved over time a lot. Yeah. But I really just enjoyed his take on the characters and his approach to that book. It was so much fun. And one of that was was it 98? Yeah, and that's about when
99, yeah.
That's right when I started buying comics again. That was probably one of the first series I picked up when I came back from my hiatus after college, and 98 was right when I started buying books again, and so I didn't know who the hell Jay Lee was, but his Inhuman stuff was awesome. Let's see.
Mike, everyone's trying to find you a house so that they can buy your art now in the chat.
Right, exactly.
Right. Well, he said beach house, everybody. So if you can find the right beach house.
It's San Diego or Orange County. Find me a good house at the beach, and maybe we'll see.
All right. So this one now, what do we got? Phil Jimenez here.
Yeah, this is Infinite Crisis number 5. This is the first appearance of the new Blue Beetle, and again, shifting to some DC art, right? Like this page is awesome. DC's been long undervalued, and I think this character has a lot of legs. Bailey turned me on to him. Again, it's Jaime Reyes, so he's actually got a movie coming out this summer as well. I think that DC's starting to do some pretty cool stuff, and I wanted to be a part of that, in terms of my art collecting. And I knew that if I wait for some of these movies to come out, I'm going to get priced out of stuff. And so I love this page. This is, again, the big reveal of his costume. Jaime appears 2 issues before in Infinite Crisis 3, but not as Blue Beetle. And so this was really the big reveal. I'd love to find the Jim Lee cover to this issue. It's epic. It's arguably, one of Jim's best from this era. And so if anyone has a lead on Infinite Crisis 5 by Jim Lee, definitely hit me up, because I'm actively hunting that one. But this is a great page, and definitely the next best thing.
Great character.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, and cool costume. I really like how they redesigned Blue Beetle in this. And if you Google the screenshots or the leaks, very, very accurate to the comic, the new costume that's going to be out in the movie. Pretty cool.
Well, Matt says advance word is the new Blue Beetle movie is, or the script is dope.
Oh,
anyway.
Cool.
Yeah. I've heard. I think they did some test screening on it. Got really high reviews. It's the actor, I'm blanking on his name, but it's the one from the Karate Kid series right now, Miguel. And I'm blanking on the actor's name. Yeah, sorry, Cobra Kai. Yeah. But looks like it's going to be family friendly, and Gunn seems to think it's good enough to keep, whereas other movies got cut. So that says something.
Well, And a very nice page there. I'm looking forward to it as well. Let's see. Marcus, I invested in Batgirl art. Well, what can we say, Marcus?
Hit me up, Marcus. I'm into Batgirl.
That was Marcus.
Yes.
Apparently.
Next piece we got here is what do we got?
This is another page from Mike. This is the other one I picked up from
sweet.
Thanks, Mike. Yeah, Young Avengers.
My heart here.
This was a lot of people were upset at me. I didn't realize how much interest there was in this. So Young Avengers is first appearance of Kate Bishop, first appearance of the Young Avengers. So that's like what, Patriot, Iron Lad, Asgardian, Hulkling. And we've seen, I think part of it is people are very excited that Marvel seems to be moving towards this direction. They've obviously, Kate Bishop had her own TV show, but a lot of those characters are already cast and have appeared in the MCU. Iron Lad is a future variant of Kang, so very likely we'll see him at some point. And Hulkling, I think, is rumored to be in something this year.
I just read that this week. I forget which movie or project but that was a rumor this week.
So this is one of those highly speculated books. Therefore, people want to speculate on the art as well. So it's very in demand, but it's a great story, and it's Jim Chung, doing peak Jim Chung work on one of his most iconic series. So very excited about this.
Yep. Yeah.
And you see a bunch of them on the page.
Yep. I think you have everybody on there.
Is everyone on here? Where's Patriot?
Yeah, Patriot's in that left panel, the second panel with Kate Bishop there.
Right.
That's one of very few pages have Kate Bishop from this issue. But it's
like 3, right?
Kate I think it's like 3 or 4.
Yeah.
I have to look it up. Yeah, I have another page from this that doesn't have Kate Bishop on it. But yeah, these pages are great. I love that Iron Lad, that panel too. I really think that they're going to bring Kang, or they're going to bring Iron Lad in through Kang because of his ties with the Fantastic Four, being a descendant of Reed Richards. It just makes a lot of sense that he's going to be in there, but can't wait. I'm looking forward to it. It's a great character.
That's a nice page. I'm surprised you let a piece by Jim go.
Yeah, I was sitting there when Mike texted me. I was scratching my head like this. I was like, what are you doing? I thought, well, I shouldn't.
Don't think twice. Just go.
You know how long I've waited to do that gag? I got to put this back now. I'm sitting on my lap for 20 minutes.
You're going to get a lot of mileage out of that prop, Dinesh.
Oh, yeah.
It's great. It's great.
Let's see here. Obviously, I love this Quesada piece. This is gorgeous.
This is cool. This is actually in Italy. I had to work with a couple friends that we made along the way. This was a really cool project that Marvel did. This was like a Wizard insert. So it was the Marvel, sort of like a sketchbook. So it was Marvel Knights Wave 2. And this was a preview of that was inserted into Wizard. The comics, no one knew what this was, or it came out later once Yelena sort of got popular. But if you look on that right side there, that person with the shadowed face is actually Yelena Belova. This came out before any other piece of art for her.
Before Inhumans 5.
Before Inhumans 5. This is actually the first published image of Yelena Belova. And even Joe Quesada didn't know.
On there? Is that what that is? Marcus just said Kevin Smith's sign. I don't know if he's joking or not. But yeah, Quesada, Palmiotti, Wizard Magazine, first appearance.
I mean, and just outside of Yelena, it's awesome cover. I mean, Daredevil, Black Panther. I mean, it's a really cool. And again, Quesada is just other level. I love, grew up reading X-Men Man of War and sort of Azrael. So I wanted a really good Quesada piece. This was cool.
It's gorgeous. It really is. I mean, the way it's just the composition, Doctor Strange's cloak there. I mean, holy man, it's just wonderful.
It's 98, I think is.
He really is, and him with Palmiotti is such a dream team. This is such a great example of them.
Yeah.
Thanks to our friends in Italy too for facilitating this, and Dinesh for picking this up. Really, really appreciate you guys for making it happen.
Wow.
That's right. He dropped us off at our booth at the booth at New York Comic Con. I remember that.
Yeah, New York Comic Con. Yeah, I was so terrified. I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to send money to somebody overseas that I don't know, and it was pretty terrifying. But you could. But
they brought the art to New York Comic Con.
Gave it to a friend who brought it to New York Comic Con. Dinesh met him there, and then brought it back for me. So it was kind of 4 people involved in this thing, and it really,
I know an art.
idea.
I know an art pack mule that comes over from Europe all the time. I can only imagine who whether it was him or not. But that's okay. Somebody's got to do it, right? If you really want to guarantee the delivery on something, it's okay. I think I would probably feel better about someone carrying a piece of art from overseas than, I mean, you guys probably didn't see it. I had a piece of art that I bought. It's from a rep who's in the US, but she doesn't have any of the art in her hands. All the artists have it. And the artist that I bought the art from was in the UK, and and it was on a big heavy piece of mat board, and it got pretty trashed coming in. I've got it over at a restorers right now just to try to fix the damage to it and and repair it. So that was the first piece of art I've ever bought where I had to have it delivered from overseas. So it was lesson learned. I didn't I thought for sure they'd pack it well, and I crossed my fingers, and but if it was oversized, so that was really the problem. It was 11 by 17. It might have been a smaller package, but it was something that was like 20 by 28. Monsters, you're just asking for trouble, right? I mean, somebody sent something on a package that big. So I think I'll probably get it back in like a month or something, but I'll definitely do it before and after.
You should.
Yeah, I'd love to see it.
I'm working with a true conservator too. She's been sending me photographs along the way, because that's what like real conservators do. They actually document everything they do, and they have to send it to you, and they take copious notes. I mean, she literally sent me 10 pages of this is what's wrong with it, and this is what I'm going to do, and you have to sign off on it before I even touch it. And I was like, dang. I know I'm paying a little bit more than probably normally, but I thought it would be cool to go that route, so I can actually show people that this is what you get when you go to a real proper restoration kind of service. But it was cool because she's introduced me to people over at the Museum of Art in Orlando and a few other people that I might not have gotten the opportunity to meet. So it was kind of cool getting to meet the woman. She seems to be very good at what she does.
So cool.
Yeah, well, it wasn't cool when I opened it, but the good thing was that the priest was actually not in the main part of the art, so I was happy about that. So here, Captain Britain, and this Captain Britain. I know this is a piece we talked about too. I actually like the piece even without the historical side of it, but it's an awesome page.
Yeah, very very excited, man. Captain Britain, Betsy Braddock, first ever appearance. This panel 4. She becomes Psylocke, obviously. A hard book to get a hold of. Never seen a page from the book, and just a stunning work of sequential art. So super happy. Got this in a big trade deal for a page from a Silver Age key. But very happy that the person that ended up with that page was a lifelong dream for them, and then also I got what I think was a very fair a deal in return, and this is one of them. Super happy with it.
Yeah, that was cool. It worked out for both of you guys really well.
It's nice to be able to do. I'm kind of into trading at the moment, which is also like the Tim Sale thing. Pick up as much trade bait. It's easier, I find, to do deals where, if you are lucky enough to be in that situation, you can say to someone, "I know you're looking to sell 2 or 3 pages. I'll take them all. I don't need them all, but I'll be able to trade them out or sell them over time." It's nice to have multiples in your CAF gallery so that people can reach out and say, "Well, would you let one of these go?"
No, very true.
People don't want to sell things, but they'll trade for it.
Yeah,
I find.
Yeah, I find the same. I mean, when people solicit for pieces in my gallery, that's the first thing I ask is, what do you have to offer? What outside of money, what other pieces do you have? I think that's kind of the future for certain sort of niches or subcategories of collecting. With first appearances kind of going on a rampage in the last couple of years, I think there's a very limited supply of that material. And so I know that's kind of the only way that I'm really thinking of letting pages go most of the time, is if there's something on the other end that I'm going to be able to replace it with.
Well, I totally agree. And actually, this page itself, I don't think the person that had it would have let it go for money. I think
agreed.
Had to
not at all.
Big trade deal.
I may have even hit them up about this page to see if they would, but it wasn't on the table.
Well, you didn't have what they wanted, but it is very true. Well, on a couple points, the Tim Sale point that you were making, Dinesh, about picking up a couple extra pieces just because, one day in the future, you can part with one, right? I mean, I think a lot of savvy art collectors always kind of follow that. I mean, I've never been savvy enough to, but I talked.
Didn't you say you had a bunch of Inhumans pages?
I had a
yeah, so you were savvy enough. And
okay, yeah, that's true. I also had a couple Century number one pages too, but I don't have those anymore either. Yeah. But no, I mean, it makes a whole lot of sense too, because you can, you just never know what's going to shake something free from another collector. Yeah. And it may not be the main piece that they want that you have, but you throw in one of those Tim Sale pages in as part of the deal, and boom, the deal is done. Right? They were happy. Yeah. It tipped the scales, and sometimes that's what you need. So it's okay. I think some of us early on, I think I might have felt a twinge of envy for collectors who could get extra pieces, knowing that they were something useful for later on. But I just see it today as if you're not doing it or not able, you really need to be doing it, just because you just never know when it's going to come in handy. It does drive up. What's that?
Trading is so valuable. I mean, we all feel the regret. I mean, people always say, I've never let a page go that I didn't regret later, right? Almost everyone says that. So if you trade, it's not really letting a piece go. You're getting one in at the same time. There's many pieces in my gallery that I get offered money for, and we can't come to terms because I don't really want to sell it for market. If I had to let it go, it would have to be above market, so I could then put that money into something else I want as much. And I offer, look, we can't come to terms on numbers. Let's talk about a trade, and a lot of times it works out. I'm both really happy. That Galactus piece, the Marvel Masterpiece cover, the trading card, I got that from someone that was chasing a piece I had and I didn't want to sell, but I was happy to trade it for that.
Yeah, that came up with us with the Ultimate Fallout 4 cover. We were offered a pretty substantial sum of money for it, and most people would think we're crazy to turn it down, but it's like, well, what are we gonna buy that's better than this thing? It's just, you really have to look at almost like I watch a lot of basketball, so I'm a big NBA player, and I look at like my team, like here's my group of pieces, and like you got to really think about the long-term value of what you're trying to accomplish. And so for me, I think that trading is the future.
Mm-hmm. I have yet to trade a piece. I'm sure it's going to happen. I just haven't done it.
Tonight could be your night.
Someone's going to pop Bill's cherry on trade today.
Doubtful tonight, but I'm sure it will happen. It's bound to happen. I just haven't. It just hasn't come up. I mean, any piece I've had, I think people can just pay cash for, so they don't even offer. The whole thing.
You're playing easy to get.
Right. Well, it's funny. I may end up having to trade because there's some pieces out there that I look at and it's like, I don't understand the market, and I feel like it might be easier to trade for one of those pieces than to buy it, because I just think, I watched this Elementals page, right? I really love Bill Willingham. I used to have about 5 or 6 in Elementals 1 or 2 pages, right? Or at least in the first 4 issues. Sold them all. There was a page that came up over the last week, and I thought it's probably a $550 page, right? That's what it should be, but ends up gets listed for a little bit around that price. It got bid up to $1,200.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
And that's insane for a Bill Willingham Elementals page. But I look at that and I'm like, well, shoot, I don't want to pay $1,200 for a page that I feel really is $550, $600 tops, right? So maybe trading is the only way I might ever get one where I feel good about it, right? Because I don't feel good about spending $1,200 on a page. I would have felt really good paying even $700 for that page, but not $1,200. So, I mean, I know we're talking different levels here, but a trade might be the way to get a page like that, because I'll never feel comfortable paying cash at that level.
Yeah, especially if you have something that you bought to trade with that you bought at the time that page was where you felt you should be.
Right.
They both come up, but you only paid half for the other page.
Exactly.
Yep. Bailey's got a good point too with trading. It eliminates some of the financial aspect of it, the tax implications of it. That's smart. That is true.
That is true for those who report their taxes properly, right? But
that is true.
yeah, I mean, not every. Well, most people.
Although I'm going to be a bit of a Debbie Downer here. Although technically, I believe you're meant to get taxed on art trades.
I think in theory you're supposed to as well. If
we need a CPA in here.
If there's any, right? Yeah, there's a couple. I've actually wanted to do a show on it, and then I keep refraining to do that because I do have a friend in the hobby who I think would be appropriate to kind of address those questions. We probably should just to put it out there so people understand.
Yeah,
this is what you're supposed to do. I know most people don't. But it is, if Uncle Sam ever found out, I mean, this whole hobby would have lots of challenges.
How's he gonna find out? It's not like we're confessing on video on the internet.
No. So I think that just makes me want to actually contact this guy and see if he won't do it with me. Because
the CPA.
Bob is a CPA.
McGinn.
1031 exchanges not applicable to art. Okay.
Oh, I didn't know that. All right.
Well, thank you, Bob. Well, I'm gonna have Bob on
for the future conversation with the IRS. Bob McGann said it was okay, guys. We had no idea.
That's right.
We're taking our CPA's advice.
Call him.
Well, I've actually got Bob on the schedule to do an interview with him in May. So perfect. Everybody bring your accounting questions.
Please elaborate on that. Amazing.
Oh man. Let's see. What do we got next here? An artist that I have always enjoyed, Ian Churchill.
Nice.
This is cool. This is a fun run for Hulk and Red Hulk. So this came out, and really this series introduced Red Hulk, that we're going to see with Ross as Red Hulk, played by Harrison Ford. But they introduced Red She-Hulk, and I think it was issue 15. She had a cameo, and then kind of this awesome cover in 16. I just always love this cover. This is, I don't know, this was just something that I wanted. I really enjoyed this. I had several issues or several copies of the actual comic book. And so when I saw this available for sale, I had been working with the owner on this and finally secured it, but really excited. It was fun.
Yeah, no, and I see Tim Guerrero mentions that Churchill has an Ed McGuinness vibe. Yeah, kind of. Maybe I'm not. It doesn't look like it was inked by Ian, but definitely. I mean, it's all to me. It's Ian, as far as his style and everything. But no, I mean, this is awesome.
Yeah, McGuinness did a lot of work on this series too.
Yeah. Nobody draws Hulk quite like Ed McGuinness, right? He's big, veiny, muscular arms is a specialty. Yep. Yeah, tiny head, giant body. Yeah, McGuinness is the master.
For sure.
But no, this is cool. I mean, and Churchill did a few of these covers, right? I mean, so you got a good one here.
Yeah, I loved it. It looks cool in color too. She's all like, just looks like a demon. Kind of looks like Hellboy, but a female version. And
yeah,
I just, it kind of hit all these like nostalgic things for me. She's got this like sai, like a ninja sai, which I love. Raphael was my favorite Ninja Turtle, and so it kind of hit all these weird chemical impulses for me, and I had to get it.
Raphael was your favorite Ninja Turtle?
I love Raphael. And he's bluey, and
isn't everyone's favorite Michelangelo?
No, he was. Maybe if you're watching the cartoon.
Who's your favorite, Bill?
I don't know. I probably didn't have a favorite, to be honest with you. I don't know. I can't answer that question. I mean, from the cartoons, I mean, I loved them all. I mean, I couldn't help it.
Are there any other Raphael fans in the chat? There's got to be someone else who likes Raphael.
No, man, they're all Michelangelo fans. They like pizza and they're party dudes.
I had the arcade game, the actual stand-up arcade game for.
And who would you play as?
Every one of them. I loved them all. It was fun. I had that. I used to have the X-Men stand-up arcade game too, a 4-player version.
Yeah,
so
I love that.
I got rid of those when I moved to my last house. I couldn't keep moving these things around. They were too damn heavy. I had a Spider-Man pinball machine. I had a Hulk pinball machine. I had a Doctor Who pinball. I was living that internet entrepreneur lifestyle for a while.
Yep.
And it was awesome. But moving things became a real hassle. So
that's Donatello's the favorite.
I see Donatello. Well, he had the longest attack. It was kind of like cheap, Yeah, that big bow staff, and Bill, you're not going to believe this. I kid you not.
Uh-huh.
At the hotel I'm staying at right now, this very hotel, in the basement floor is an arcade, and they have NBA Jam and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the very game you're talking about.
Dang.
I keep trying to get Dinesh to come visit me up at this hotel whenever I'm here.
but I'm not going to do it if I have to play as Raphael.
You play as Michelangelo.
You know, he has the shortest attack on the NES. Do you know that?
Pizza time.
How do you guys know all this? We're learning so
No,
much.
it's in the
about
chat.
you.
It's in the chat.
Oh, it's in the chat. I wasn't even
Just
paying
read in the chat. That's on market.
Oh,
We're way
man.
off track here. We're way off
Nothing
track,
wrong with
guys.
that. Nothing wrong with that. But yeah, the only I really regret getting rid of the X-Men arcade though, because that was a fun game.
Yeah,
It really was. If I could buy any of them back, I would pick up the X-Men arcade again.
4 Seasons, Westlake
You
Village.
could trade for it.
I probably could. So we're gonna go over to Spidey here as our next one. I had the Spider-Man had a stand-up arcade game too, and I actually had the board for it, and I could swap it out on the machine and play that.
Cool.
But so speaking of Spider-Man here, let's take a look at Dinesh's next piece, because this is from Spider-Man 129, the first Punisher issue.
First Punisher issue. I can't find a page with him on it. I haven't even seen a page with him on it. I've heard rumor that a couple of them are out there. But this is the closest I can get. I have another page from this book that is the worst page in the issue. And so this came up. This is actually, I think this is part of that deal that I got Captain Britain.
It was part of that same trade. Yep.
And it's got a gun that kind of half checks a box. It's got the word armorer on it, and it's got it name checks the Punisher in one of the caption boxes. So that's close. I'm getting closer. I'm very happy to settle on this one. 129, great book. 2 pages from that book, awesome.
I love the Spidey in it too. Was it Jerry Conway's story?
I believe so.
One, I think it was, man. Jerry's legit. I'm gonna look it up right now. I think it was.
Well, so you have 2 pages from the issue now. That's not too bad.
It's pretty great.
but yeah, what are you gonna do?
It doesn't suck, Bill.
No, of course not. I mean, I'm sitting there thinking that's great. I mean, if it does, even though it doesn't,
what am I going to do? I got to get the other 20, complete the gauntlet.
Right, exactly.
No, probably at some point someone will really want one, and I'll trade hopefully the other one for something that I don't have.
Right.
But the pages, I mean, the book it's such a big book. They're not cheap, but they feel like they're, in my opinion, half of where they should be compared to pages in similar stature from books of similar stature, similar stature.
I mean, it's a very nice Spidey page, but too bad. Punisher was on that rooftop not too long ago.
Literally the page before this. That's his gun right there. Just his sniper rifle, his handgun. So close.
Yep. I think this has a lot going for it. I love the Spidey action. I love the mask. I mean, this is killer. I remember when you got this. I think this is just epic. Such a cool page.
Now, was it a trade?
Yeah.
Yeah, really?
It was a trade. See, look at this. All these trades going on.
I'm missing out. Seriously.
This was part of all the trades we've talked about from my side tonight are all part of one big trade. Okay. So it feels like many, but this is part of that same trade from Captain Britain as well.
With one collector or multiple collectors?
With one collector. I traded one page, and he traded me 5 or 6 plus quite a bit of cash.
What's crazy, Bill, is that was the same collector who brought that guy who brought over Marvel Knights. So it's a one big thread on this whole thing.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, there are so many collectors out there that that are under the radar. People don't know about. I mean, there's a lot of great art out there that will never appear on CAF, and so you guys are fortunate to kind of tap into, or to have done the network that you've done, such that people know you and are not afraid to approach you on deals like these. I mean, it goes back to that need to, it's okay to kind of get yourself out there a little bit, because you wouldn't have gotten some of these opportunities otherwise. Yeah,
I get offered art literally every day. Every day. David Miller's texts me about 3 times a week saying, "What'd you get offered? What have I missed? Tell me what's going on in the marketplace." And it's nice. And people don't get it, as long as you're very clear and you're quick to respond. They don't mind if the answer is no, or what would you take this instead?
Right.
That kind of,
Yeah.
Mhm.
they're cool.
It's okay to turn people down, but
Yeah.
yeah, no, but that's the other point though, is being prompt and everything. Yeah, I mean, it keeps kind of the buzz being, you guys are treating it professionally. You're willing to work with people when you think it's a fair deal, and otherwise, at least you're cordial and you're keeping lines of communication open at the end of the day, right?
And you can matchmake also. When you get enough of a network, you can say, like, this isn't really for me, but you know who you should talk to.
Right.
Let me connect you with this other person I did a deal with that was something from 2 years ago, and he would love this. And they're like, great. I'm just looking to, sell it or trade it or whatever.
Sure.
Yeah. Yep. Very true.
Let's see here. We got 4 more pieces to look at. And this next one is from Avengers Academy 21, the cover.
Yeah, this is a cool page too. So this was a series not a lot of people, I think, kind of keyed in on. But there are some great characters that came from this thing. One of them being this particular iteration of White Tiger. So this is Ava Ayala, who is, in my opinion, she's my favorite White Tiger, and love the posing on it. I had a couple interior pages from this issue, and my buddy Bailey said, "Hey, I'm interested in selling a few things," and this was one of the things that I asked him about. I loved this cover, and I was really, really grateful.
This came from Bailey?
Yeah, dude.
That's cool.
A lot of the stuff tonight came from Bailey. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Thanks, Bailey.
I
feel like anytime I'm hunting for a page that's modern, I should just go straight to his gallery, because the likelihood is he's already scooped it. You know what I mean?
There are no sirens in Seattle. Enough, Marcus.
Bailey Powers misses this one. Yep, I know, man. We got to spend some time with Bailey's son Powers too, he's the future of this hobby, or Pokemon. Guy's so cool.
Super cool.
This guy.
Powers awesome. Super smart. Kick my ass at sword fight. I'm just gonna say it's sword fighting.
LARPing. Come on now.
LARPing. Yeah, LARPing.
You were. We all did. We just need to own it. It was great.
Yeah, it's a nice piece. It's all pencil, but it's cool.
Yeah, that's an.
There were no sirens in lawless Seattle.
I love it. The Seattle thread is great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And aren't you now? I thought I saw Mike when you had a CGC shirt on too, didn't you, earlier?
I did. Yeah, these guys were so sweet to us.
See?
This is like shameless plug for them, because they gave Powers. Powers is really into Pokemon, and he's really good at collecting Pokemon cards.
Yeah.
Like, this kid is 9 years old and is a pro. I mean, he's a better collector than 90% of the people I've met in this hobby. And so we stopped by the CGC booth. We were just chatting with them, seeing how things were going, and they saw that Powers was in the Pokemon. They gave him the sample graded Pokemon card. So it's like, actually, instead of a grade, it says sample, like SA, and just so cool of them. And so I love that. And they gave me a T-shirt that
did they give you a T-shirt, or did you stand there for 10 minutes touching a T-shirt saying, "This is the best"? Wow, your promos are
a little awkward.
What sizes you guys have?
I was a little awkward with it. It's made by my favorite company. I just love it.
You wanted it.
It's soft. It feels great. It feels like a little blanket. It's like wearing a little blanket.
I need to get you a Comic Card fan shirt, Mike.
Yes, please.
That's what we need to work out.
Bella Canvas, Bill. Get all of your T-shirts from Bella Canvas.
That's the brand. Bella Canvas.
All right.
That's
right.
the brand.
Oh man, but that's cool. He collects Pokemon cards. I mean, my kids collected Pokemon cards early on too, and it was a fun hobby. And yeah, I mean, kids got to start collecting something early, and Pokemon cards isn't the worst thing that they could be buying. So that's awesome.
No, and it's so funny. My girls, so Powers is 9. I have girls that are 7 and 11, and Powers is like a legend in my house. They've never met him, but they're like, who is this kid Powers who has all these Pokemon cards that we want? And can we meet him? Like, my 11-year-old's like, I want to go to Seattle, Dad. Like, let's go. Like, I'll pay for my ticket. I'm like, you can't go. You have school. But yeah, she's dying to meet Powers because he's a legend, Pokemon legend.
That's awesome. Let's see, where are we going? We're going to a Spider-Man page again, Dinesh. I mean,
Yeah.
I thought you were all DC now, but apparently there was a period where you were still keying in on the
This
Marvel
is so
universe.
cool. This is so
I guess
man.
one DC feels like all DC, huh?
Yeah.
Yes, this is Spidey 265 for Civil Sable. She's on 4 or 5 pages. This is one of them. And I love Colonel Sanders there in panel 3.
That's amazing. Oh my gosh, I cannot believe that.
But yeah, nice fight sequence. First appearance, and she's there in costume. She's still a kind of a D list Spidey character, but it feels like everyone else has popped. She's gotta get her turn soon.
Yeah, she's great, man. She's
awesome.
Total vigilante. I mean, Spidey. There's not many Spidey characters that they haven't done, So I think you're right.
I mean, I love anything from Amazing Spider-Man. The series is great. This time period, the art's wonderful. Character that's well known, and then just crassly, at some point they've got to put her in a show or a movie. They're running out of characters in that universe.
Yeah,
she's as big a character as I can think of in comics that has not yet made a live action appearance.
Yeah, yep. Wasn't there talk about her and Black Cat doing one, right? Those two together.
Yeah, Black Cat's the other one.
Silver and Black. Yeah,
more popular.
But yeah, those Black. I think that's what they were talking about.
Right. That's I think a show. Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, I love it. Is that Aunt May there too with Colonel Sanders? What's going on here, Aunt May?
Aunt May does look around.
I don't know if that's Aunt May. I don't know who that is, but
Aunt May and Colonel Sanders on the same page, same panel.
That is interesting. This is from issue 265 too. I mean, it's awesome. Yeah, it does look. It really does look like Colonel Sanders. So if he did, why did they put the bow tie on? That just feels.
How could you not put a bow tie on? Is my question, Bill. You have to have that thing on there. It's like you got some GI Joe villains in there. Cobra members. Amazing.
It's so evocative of the Marvel storytelling in that era. It's like Jim Shooter era.
Yeah.
Well, Shooter left his mark on those books. Completely. I mean, and not in a bad way either. At the end of the day, so is this another trade piece?
No, this was not a trade. This was a purchase, and I think someone did what we're talking about. Someone bought, I think from Berkey, maybe, I'm not sure, 4 or 5 pages with Silver Sable from this book, and then tried to work out, either trades or sales to different people. And I was happy to pick one up.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's cool.
Sorry, I just reading through that.
The comments are great tonight, guys.
I know. Fried chicken, wheat cakes. Yep, bucket list page, of course.
I love it.
Thank you, Rick. Let's see here. We got 2 more pieces. One from
2 more.
Wow.
Yeah. Is this my last one? I think this was.
And it's DC.
This is. I placed this one at the end for all of you who are willing to stay through our shenanigans here. This is actually, I don't have in hand yet. I'm in LA. I'm picking it up in 2 days. I've got the owner's permission to post this. But I am so excited about this page.
Yeah, this is awesome.
Dude, how cool is Power Girl? Like, honestly, she's so rad. And the coverage is sold. Obviously I couldn't make a run for that. Way too expensive. I think she's only in 4 pages from this issue. And this was
time because it's an anthology. There's multiple stories in this issue.
Yeah,
first boob window. Is this technically first boob window? Do you see her?
No, she's got at least one before then. She's got at least one before. I think page 29 she has it. 29 is a great page, and so, man, this is just amazing. I love Power Girl. I love like Superman, right? Like growing up, and here's basically Supergirl from a different universe, from Earth 2 originally, and they sort of had to reboot her origin a couple times, but I think they sort of reverted back to her original origin of being Clark's cousin, whose ship was sent but arrived much later, so she kind of came to Earth as a teenager rather than as a baby like Clark. It took her longer, but she was all socially acclimated because she spent over a decade learning in this holographic environment on her spaceship. So just cool. Power Girl's cool. Her costume's rad. Yeah, this is funny too. I mean, the story, and Dinesh, you may know this or may know better than me too, but the idea was they wanted to see how far they could get away with this. And so over the course of the next several issues, Power Girl's enhancements continued to get stronger, which is really funny.
Wally Wood,
assets,
right?
Yeah,
I think
her
Wally Wood was...
assets grew over time, much like a balance sheet. And so it was amazing to see how far they could get away with it. There's some other stuff from this issue that Mancuda pointed out to me that is just downright hilarious. I'm not going to spoil it for you, but Mancuda is really fascinated by how the Star Spangled Kid takes down villains. So if you get a chance, pick up this issue and look for how the Star Spangled Kid takes down a criminal. It's pretty amazing, and that it got past an editor. So
I think that's the point. This book didn't really have an editor.
It's like, I look at this book, I'm like, who is asleep at the wheel for this thing? I mean, it's amazing, but it's pretty funny.
Yeah, that's Rick Estrada art, and of course Wally Wood
Yep.
inks. I did see Marcus pointed that out earlier when he mentioned that he had wood. It's true. That's it's all wood inks on this piece.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, and I don't know anything that you're talking about there. I guess I'll have to go back and check it out.
Oh, Bill, go online and find it. It is, this whole issue is hilarious. Like, truly, look at every panel and you're going to be like, how did this publish? Amazing.
Scott says Wood was somewhat disgruntled and wanted to see if editors would notice his enhancements.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
It's very true.
This issue and then the subsequent issues, every time she appears, it's just hilarious. How much?
What is going on here? What is happening to this Kryptonian? It's amazing.
Something about the yellow sun or something, but no, this is cool. And you know, and this is for you. This was an important pickup. I mean, even though it's DC, I mean, you know, you're getting a good first appearance issue here. I mean, so that's awesome. And like you said,
it's a great.
You can't pick up the covers, right? I mean, the cover for this, so having an interior page is just as good.
Yeah, that bottom left, I love, like, you know, the sort of the fourth panel there and the fifth panel just are so cool. I love how, you know, Estrada drew her face, you know, some of the emotion on there. Just that ear is so cool to me. And certainly that bottom left panel is beautiful.
Yep, I agree. I definitely agree. Now, another first appearance of a female character here to finish things off.
Yeah. Wasp.
That's cool.
Yeah, Tales 44. First Wasp. Oversized art. Again, I don't post a lot of my Silver Age art because it's so big and my scanner is not big enough. I think I had to scan this in 3 pieces. Very annoying. But wanted to for the show. I guess kick off and end with a big Silver Age page, a big oversized Silver Age page. Just love this stuff, man. Peak Marvel era. They're still figuring out the universe, still building it, still all coming together. Wonderful to get a page from one of the books that puts another piece on the board.
Yeah, that's neat, man. I didn't know you had this one. This is really cool.
So
you had
a recent pickup for you, Dinesh?
No. A lot of the I haven't. I'm trying to think how long ago this was. This is a while ago. I just haven't scanned it. Just haven't posted it. But I should dig out all my art of this size and just spend a day scanning and stitching it up. We've got a big pile of it now. So maybe next time I'll just do all Silver Age.
Might be cool. That's one of the things I love about doing these shows, Bill. And I mentioned it in another post on the CGC forums as well. Is I love that it, you know, sort of keeps me accountable to, like, pushing my art up, like to upload it and to, like, actually go in. I made, again, all my art active tonight. So it's really easy to get kind of lost in the busyness of life. Mm-hmm. And so when we do these shows, it's cool because it's like, okay, I've got to make sure I load these pieces up and get them over there. And it's cool. It keeps me accountable in that way. Stanley's asking, do we compete with Thomas Fish? Tom's a friend of ours. I text Tom pretty regularly. We've bought pieces from Tom and vice versa. And so I wouldn't say we compete with them.
No, because we like a challenge.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, Tom's
Tom's
been out there for a long time. He's known as a first appearance collector in his own right, obviously, and he's always had a great eye, even if it wasn't going after first appearances. So, I mean, what are you going to do at the end of the day? You're all, there's lots of people competing for the pages that we've looked at tonight. Tom Fish is just one of them. But he's a very selective buyer. He's a very slow, methodical. Anything that Tom picks up, and I wish I could get Tom on here sometime. Stanley asked if I could interview Tom, and I said I'd try to reach out to him. I haven't yet, but he told me like a year ago. He said he'd do it a year ago, but then trying to pin him down to actually do an interview is tough. But he'd be a very interesting because I think a lot of people have never met him. I mean, I've known Tom for pretty much the whole time I've been in the hobby. I think I met him early on because he's always buying stuff from Mike. And so, but an interesting guy and great eye for, the right pieces. He's smart buyer at the end of the day.
Go ahead,
Dinesh.
I was going to say, he does something about competing. He does call sometimes. I don't know if he's done this to you, Mike. He'll call and he'll be like, hey, like halfway through a heritage auction, still going on. He'll be like, hey, did you buy that page? Were you the one? Did you buy that page? No, I didn't buy that page. He goes, okay, good, because I did. Why what are you asking for?
True.
This is a weird way to tell me you just bought that page and you're excited.
True.
He doesn't.
He's not competitive at all.
Oh my gosh, he did that. I think he did that to me on the X-Men 1 cover. No, Fish. I don't have like millions of dollars.
Did you buy it, Mike? No,
okay,
Jim Lee. I did. I bought the Jim Lee.
I'm like, did you buy it? No, I didn't buy it. He didn't, and he played that for like 2 months, and then he finally was like, "Oh yeah, I did." But Fish is he's really cool about stuff. He's definitely been at shows on the East Coast that we don't go to, and he's called us up and offered us pieces on that. Like, I don't think I can't remember if you've shared one of the pieces that Tom sent our way that he found. It's okay. I'll tell you after, just in case you want to. Yeah, but he's done that for us. Miles, Ultimate Fallout. I mean, arguably my favorite piece we have is that's from Fish. Fish owned it twice. He actually owned that thing twice.
Yeah. Go twice.
I know. Yep.
Yeah, I was. There was a lot of speculation who picked up that X-Men book, right? I mean, the cover. Yeah. So, I mean, there were rumors, and it was funny. Tom wasn't one of the regular rumors that I was hearing up until
I know.
Because he was the one spreading all the other rumors. That's why.
Right.
Funny.
But that was funny that he, I thought it was interesting that he waited a little bit before posting it, because he could have just squashed the rumors right away. But for whatever reason, it was probably more fun just to hear people talk about it, right? Because there was all
I'm sure.
Expensive. He probably had terms, and he wanted to make sure it was fully paid off in his hands before anyone could jinx it if he really wanted it.
That could be.
Makes sense.
That's a good point.
Yeah, no, anything can happen, right? Something could fall through, especially on a deal that large. And there were, I mean, hey, even if there was only 5 to 8 people who could have swung it, anything can happen, even after a handshake on a deal. So, but it was cool to have it out there, right? That was like an event. You don't get to many events like that in our hobby, and I thought that was one of the cooler moments probably of the last 5 years, just being, John put it out there and kind of brokering the deal, and just everybody was curious who it was going to go to. So we need more fun things like that happening in the hobby.
Secret Wars 8-page, that was a big moment, I think, for the hobby. Gosh, I remember all of us being on live chat being like, oh my gosh, this thing's still going.
I know.
Dark Knight 1, that was a cool moment. Gosh, I mean, this hobby is so fun. It's just a blast. And so thank you to all of you who are part of it. Thanks for all of the great relationships we built along the way. Really, really appreciate y'all. It's cool.
Exactly. And I'm going to update the show graphics to make sure that everybody knows this is the 4th time we've been together. So, they don't think that we've only done this 3 times. But no, these are always fun, guys. And I know, like you guys said, we could have probably looked at 40 pieces tonight and wouldn't have probably hit on all the pieces that we could have talked about. So maybe we shouldn't wait 6 months between shows. We should do these a little more frequently.
San Diego. Come out to San Diego, Bill. We'll do it live.
I know all the drinks I want, right?
All the drinks you want.
Lots of tiki drinks.
I'm definitely thinking about it. I don't think I'd be able to do the whole show if I were to come out, but if I could probably be there for a couple days. So we'll see. If I can make it work, I will come out. I will let you guys know. But yeah, no, these are always great. I really enjoy them. I like the fact that, you know, I don't think we do a lot of art drops with collectors. You know, typically we're always looking at stuff that's been on their CAF or in their CAF for a while or whatnot. And so these are fun. I would encourage any other collector out there who's able to do an art drop with me as part of the interview. Let's do it. You know, even if we've done a show before, right? It's fun. And every piece has a story, you know, why you wanted it, potentially how you got it, who you got it from. I mean, you know, these are interesting.
Liefeld prelims. Go grab them, guys.
I had no idea. I'm going to have to go back.
Those are not just prelims. Those are gold. Those are
I should
original
next time we do
pencils.
this, I'll bring the one I just got.
You should.
Thanks to Mike's purchase.
You should. Yeah, you should.
Mark Levy says you should leave a comic book in the library.
That's a good idea.
Before you leave.
Usually I bring a trade paperback, but my classic is the Tom King Mr. Miracle series. I love that series, but I don't have my copy with me, or else I would. That would be a great one to leave behind.
You should sit down, draw a comic book, letter it.
Just prelims. Just prelims.
And then stick it in there.
That's a good idea.
I just can't believe nobody walked through the library while you were in there the whole time. So.
Oh, they did. You just didn't see them. Here, I'll give you a full tour here. It's beautiful. Check this out. Look at all this. They walked on the other side.
Wow, that is.
This place is rad.
Darn. Well, you got the run of the place right now.
I know. Everyone's partying downstairs at the bar.
Soon to be you.
I'm going to bed. I'm an old man.
Well, guys, this was fun as always, and let's not wait 6 months for the next one. Let's try to plan something, like you say, probably by San Diego. So whether maybe before it or right after it, we should do another one. But hang out in the green room for a minute after the show too, so we can for a little bit. But
anyone's still watching too, hit that like button. Let's really help out on those algorithms. I really want to make sure that we help you, Bill, as much as we can.
I appreciate that. I'm terrible at marketing and reminding people. I usually need Nick Ferrucci in here cheering everybody on, but it does help everybody to hit the like button and to leave a comment after the show, and and tell your friends, subscribe. It's you know, where else are you going to get great conversation like this? Stanley, thank you. If Stanley says great show, if it's got Stanley's seal of approval, I know we did good tonight. So
Bailey's volunteering. He's taking the couch. I mean, that's
all right. That's a good offer there, Christopher.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Thank you for tuning in, and definitely Mike, Dinesh. These are always fun. And I look forward to doing the next one with you guys.
Thanks, everyone.